Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this LinkedIn Live on a very special topic on BPaaS in healthcare, a new era in healthcare solutions. Now, before we delve deeper into the topic, let me ask my co-panelists to introduce themselves. And as they're introducing themselves, I'll also request uh, uh, all the participants, all the audience members who are joining, to also type in where they are tuning in from, where they are joining in from, and any specific question that they have, which they want us to focus on in today's session. So, Vivek, why don't we start with your introduction first?
Sure. Thanks, Ankur, and thanks to all the participants who are joining. I know most of you might be hooked towards the results of US president elections, me as well, but I know this is an interesting topic as well that we want you guys to focus on. So just a quick introduction about myself. I am Vivek Kumar. I'm a practice director here in the healthcare and life sciences team at Everest Group. I lead our healthcare research practice, tracking everything across payer, provider, BPaaS particularly as well, where we try to understand how exactly the market is evolving from an enterprise perspective, from a service provider perspective, and help our clients in introducing, identifying, navigating the course of their journey towards growth, go to market, and multiple other ways. Thank you for joining in once again. And in the next 1 hour, 45 minutes, we'll walk you through what we are going to cover and what in kind of interesting trends we are covering in the healthcare payer BPaaS market. Over to you, Vaibhav.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ankur. Thank you, Vivek. Hello, everyone. I'm Vaibhav Srivastava, a senior analyst with Everest Group. I specialize in the healthcare payer market, focusing on certain areas, be it overall payer operations or BPaaS or certain niche areas such as payment integrity or clinical operations. I work closely with service providers and enterprises in the market to understand certain market shifts and emerging trends, helping to provide clear insights into this evolving landscape. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thank you, Vivek. And uh, I will play the role of a moderator today. Just from an introduction point of view, I'm a vice president at Everest Group and I lead the healthcare operations team. So, with that, I think we can start with the discussion. Uh, so, Vivek, first, let's talk about the recent study that we did on healthcare BPaaS market. So, why don't you take everyone through what we did, what was the study about, and what was the process?
Absolutely. Thanks, Ankur. So, just to give a brief background to the participants who are not aware of the peak matrix assessment, it's an assessment where we evaluate service providers and solutions providers across different metrics to understand the landscape of the market through multiple levers and then try to sort of identify where exactly do they lie in terms of multiple based on capabilities distributed across different factors, right? As particularly if we look at it from a solutions perspective, we do this evaluation across two broad parameters, as you can see, one on the y-axis, one on the x-axis. Y-axis something around market impact, where we try to evaluate them on the basis of their growth, revenue, portfolio, and most importantly, buyer references as well. And on the x-axis, which is vision and capability, we evaluate providers on other types of capabilities such as innovations, investments, technology investments, vision, strategy, and all of them encapsulating to understand how exactly they are headed towards this growth. So this is a brief perspective on how we do the evaluations, and most importantly, in terms of the process, it's a multi-step process. We take into account multiple factors such as RFI submissions, secondary conversations, buyer references, where we also speak to the clients to see how this market is evaluating. So a lot of effort that goes into it, and some of you might be able to see on the screen as well, right? In this evaluation, we evaluated 14 solutions providers where we interacted with 25 plus buyers, where we understood how exactly these solutions providers have been able to provide impact on their current BPaaS engagements. And we did this entire evaluation over the span of 6 to 7 months, where we took multiple factors into consideration. In fact, 50 plus parameters to be the precise. And based on this entire evaluation, what we have done is given a perspective of the BPaaS solutions landscape for some of the major providers who are out there in the market. Now, what's very interesting here to see is that if you look at it, the market, and some of these things we'll probably cover later as well, is that this is a market which is evolving. There are multiple distinct strategies that some of the players are leveraging, and these strategies are nuanced for different types of LOBs, for different types of plans, that is helping them get more traction. Just to give a very brief example, some of the players are using specific focus toward a specific LOB through having either an end-to-end strategy or by having a specific tower-based strategy. And these are pretty exciting trends, right? And that's why what how we are seeing this market is from an evolution standpoint, multiple ways how to transform the healthcare payer operations from a traditional way to a more end-to-end platform integrated based fashion.
Very interesting, Vivek. So I think one of the most interesting data point for me is the buyer interaction that the team did, specifically speaking with more than 25, 30 companies, right? So Vaibhav, why don't you talk about when you had conversations with those buyers, what were the challenges that they highlighted? And then Vivek, why don't you talk about, when we look at BPaaS, why do you think BPaaS is a solution for those challenges? So Vaibhav, over to you.
Sure, Ankur. Right now, if you look into the data points, healthcare payers are currently under huge pressure due to high healthcare costs in the US. In fact, the US has spent around 4.8 trillion in 2023 on healthcare and is expected to grow at a CAGR of around 5.5%, reaching over 6 trillion by 2028. This constant rise in healthcare spending means that payers are facing rising cost over the services they cover, which really squeezes in their margins, even if the revenue is growing. To keep this margins intact, if you see payers need to find certain ways to cut down cost on their operating and administrative operations. Otherwise, they might have to pass on these costs to members, which could mean even higher premiums or fewer benefits, something which members are already struggling with. But cutting these administrative costs isn't that easy, and payers are up against a lot of tough challenges, both old and new. So I'd like to walk through a couple of these challenges. First up is interoperability. In today's interconnected world, healthcare data really needs to flow smoothly. But if you see, a lot of payers are relying on their old legacy systems. That is making this quite difficult. Discontinued infrastructure can slow down data insights and block some seamless information exchange. Plus, regulations like certain regulations like the CMS interoperability and prior auth rule, this requires certain health plans to also provide patient and provider access through secure APIs. So payers really need to speed up their interoperability efforts to keep up. Another major challenge which the payers face is scalability and agility of current solutions. So the payers landscape, if you see, it's drastically changing, and traditional systems often struggle to keep up. As more members are shifting towards Medicare Advantage and ACA plans, system needs to adapt to these new benefit structures and the growing demands. For instance, if you look into recent data, Medicare Advantage enrollment has alone surged up to 35% in the past 4 years, and that's huge jump. Unfortunately, the older systems they can't easily scale or adapt, which can lead to certain inefficiencies, fragmented care, and also less than ideal outcomes. This challenge it impacts or shows the need for a more flexible and agile solution. Then there is complexity of value-based care. Moving towards value-based care is a huge challenge because it requires a certain financial and administrative structure. Payment is often tied to certain health outcomes, which means that performance tracking and quality matrix is essential. Plus, there is a growing focus on health equity and addressing social determinants of health, which also adds up to an extra layer of process. To really make these value-based care work, we need a major shift in systems and processes. which again is a huge challenge. Next is the evolving landscape, a regulatory compliance landscape is a massive concern with healthcare data breaches on the rise and payers facing the dual challenge with strict regulations while also keeping their system secure. If you look into consideration of the recent attack on United Health owned Change Healthcare, for instance, which impacted over 6 terabytes of sensitive data, which is a huge amount. According to certain recent reports as well, some ransomware attacks and data breaches have skyrocketed over the past couple of years. So pairs are under constant pressure to enhance their security through robust network defenses and application security. Finally, we have unsatisfied members or the evolving member expectations. That's a big factor in itself. Members today, they are expecting the same kind of personalized and digital experience from their health plans that they get in other parts of their lives. But traditional models for member engagement aren't quite meeting these requirements. In fact, member satisfaction is at a low point according to our recent surveys. If payers don't adapt and invest in tech that is prioritizing these member experience, they'll risk losing member loyalty. Plus, a poor member experience can also hurt star ratings, which impacts both membership and reimbursements. So, Ankur, net, these are a couple of the biggest challenges for healthcare payers that they're facing right now. Each one is complex in itself, and together they are shaping the way payers need to approach the market.
Thanks. Thanks, Weber, for highlighting the challenges. And just to answer the
Sure.
second part,
Sure,
which
Vaibhav,
you,
very interesting. So Vivek, if you look at some of these challenges, right?
yeah, please go ahead, Ankur.
Vivek, please go ahead. Yeah, I was asking Vivek, if you look at some of these challenges, they were always there in the industry, right? So why do you think BPaaS is the solution to address some of these challenges which were always there, right?
Spot on, Ankur. I think very valid point. And there's a specific reason, or rather, I would say multiple reasons why BPaaS is able to solve some of these challenges with a one singular integrated approach. These challenges have been there in the industry, and there have been ways in which payers have tried to counter some of these challenges, but the methods that they have applied has always been fragmented. For example, I have to solve something for my interoperability issue. I'll probably have a data interoperability management system platform. If I have to solve something around scalability, I'll probably ask my partner, service provider, solutions provider, probably scale up, right? Multiple investments, point solutions, at times certain orchestrations as well, but only limited to certain specific areas or towers or sub processes, right? And that is why it has been very difficult for the payer clients, as I speak to them, to bundle all of these into one fashion, which is A, modular, B, integrated, and C, at the same time, be more data intensive and rich in the sense that a payer or a buyer enterprise can essentially take decisions more proactively, right? So that is where the element of BPaaS comes into a picture, which is not just holistic across the levers of people, process, and technology, but also provides nuance for a payer enterprise to not to future proof their solution. And how does BPaaS does that, right? I think two or three very specific nuances. First, obviously, around having a platform that takes care of your needs end to end. Some of this might also be covered in the subsequent slide. But if you have a platform that's not just taking care of your claims process end to end, member process end to end, or entire value chain of the payer process end to end, right? From a member, care, provider, risk, services, etc. You don't have to worry about these services with multiple vendors or multiple service providers to take into account for, right? That's a very important element. The second element, which essentially a BPaaS solution helps pair enterprises, is with their ability to scale up and down very quickly. I have an open enrollment period. It's already ongoing right now. Multiple health plans which we speak to, they also talk about the challenges that they are ongoing facing right now and might also face once the period is over. Is that, hey, I'm not able to scale it up, I'm not able to scale it down. I need a solution which can essentially manage based on the seasonal demand and even to certain extent other demands as well. BPaaS is there, it can help it across for you. Third, obviously, is that multiple changes are required for compliance. The state of a particular state has made certain modifications in their Medicaid requirements. Some other state has made some other modifications, and in order to ensure that you are compliant, your solution needs to be, if it is a point solution or some bit of an orchestrated solution, needs to be rethought entirely. But the compatibility of the BPaaS with the existing solutions and the configurability helps a pair enterprises to immediately switch across some of these things, right? So these are certain very important nuances in which BPaaS brings together the entire play of platform, operations, services, and the very important element of domain that helps payers to navigate across these through these entire set of challenges, hence making BPaaS as a truly unique solution for them. And this is something which we keep on having the conversations with enterprises, and they seem to be very interested into understanding how these benefits can actually get into the play. That, hey, I have a legacy system in place, but I'm not able to manage my members. My members are extremely unhappy. And I think most of the people who are joining this, they might also be aware of the recent decline in star ratings, which is also becoming a core concern for the enterprises that we are speaking to, right? So multiple challenges, but this integrated fashion of providing or managing all the challenges with one single platform, one single solution, integrating all of these components into one picture is what is making BPaaS truly differentiable in the other solutions that are present in the market.
Sure, Vivek, and we'll talk about some of those benefits which BPaaS can provide, which other solutions might not. But what I also see is that there is a lot of dissonance in the industry regarding what BPaaS really means. Like, what are the core pillars of BPaaS? So why don't we start with understanding what BPaaS means, and then we'll talk about the benefits it can provide and how payers should really think about a BPaaS solution. So, Weber, would you want to explain the core pillars of BPaaS in your opinion?
Sure, Ankur. Absolutely. At the core, if you look, BPaaS is built on four main pillars. It's platform, operations, domain expertise, and deployment. So we'll break down and deep dive into each of these segments now. Firstly, the platform. A BPaaS platform, Ankur, is essentially the technology backbone. It provides a centralized system, often as either a system of record or a system of engagement that supports various business processes, applications, and tools. This platform, it also integrates different systems to create something scalable and customizable, which is exactly what payers are looking for today. So if you're talking about platforms, there are a few characteristics which I would like to highlight that payers look into for a BPaaS platform. First is that it needs to be composable. What this means is payers want a platform that easily integrates with their other core systems or any third-party solutions that they're currently using without having to make any big architectural changes. Composable platforms allow for that flexibility, unlike other systems, which can often be lead to an issue. Then there's modularity. Flexibility is definitely essential. So a modular platform is an ideal case. Traditional platforms, they tend to be monolithic, making it very hard to scale smoothly as changes come. With a modular approach in a platform, players can definitely scale up or customize the systems as required without any major disruptions. And finally, pairs are looking for platforms that are pre-configured. So instead of building everything from the ground up, a pre-configured platform that it provides a common set of customizable functions right out of the box. This makes implementation way faster and more efficient. Next, Next pillar is operations. So this is basically the engine that drives the BPaaS solution. Through a combination of business and tech operations, BPaaS provides it supports a wide range of healthcare services to services that drive it efficiently. It consolidates operations under one contract and uses workflows that are already set up to enhance processes, helps maintain best practices, and also helps ensure compliance. This structure not only streamlines process, but also it helps support the ongoing investments or improvements. Uh, the third important pillar that BPaaS is built upon is domain expertise. For a BPaaS solution to work very effectively, you need a team. You need a team with very deep knowledge of healthcare specific processes, regulations, and definitely best practices. So BPaaS is a tool. It brings together professionals with this domain expertise who can effectively utilize both the technology and process that the platform is providing. Uh, they bring a thorough understanding, these domain expertise with their domain expertise of healthcare business process and technology, which is very essential in delivering value. And after that, we come to the fourth pillar, which is deployment. So BPaaS is something that can be deployed in two main ways, two constructs. Either it could be cloud or on premise, depending on what the enterprise exactly needs. So cloud, it offers a lot of advantages, obviously, like easier access to collaboration, less reliance on IT resources, and the ability to scale up or down as per the demand. So this flexibility is definitely a key. It doesn't require any upfront investment, which helps operational efficiency. So net, Ankur, these are the four main pillars of BPaaS: platform operations, domain expertise, and deployment. Each one of them play a very crucial role in making BPaaS a powerful solution for healthcare payers.
Sure. I think this definitely helps in getting a clarity on when payers are thinking about a BPaaS solution, what does it really mean, right? So, in summary, what you're saying is if a solution is platform oriented, with of course domain playing a key role, different deployment models, and the services component, which are operations, is also included with the platform. If all these four pillars combined, then that solution could be called a BPaaS solution. Perfect. Uh, I think one of the real world question that we typically get from our payer clients is which are the areas where BPaaS solution is currently being deployed, and what kind of BPaaS solutions really exist in the market today. So, Vivek, would you want to talk about that?
Absolutely, Ankur, and very right question. This is something which we do encounter in a lot of our client conversations. So, if you look at it from an implementation perspective, broadly, two areas in which the BPaaS solution is deployed, two or three areas, and basis on that, the classifications of different types of BPaaS solutions are also undertaken. The first is the core admin areas where essentially the implementation is around member processes, end-to-end member towers that takes care of your enrollment, your eligibility, billing, and things of that nature, as well as the claims processes, everything around print, fulfillment, intake, adjudication, and things of that nature, right? So that's a very prominent area of implementation that we see. The other areas that we typically see implementations of BPaaS is for specific towers, right? It could be around let's say just for a provider management which takes care of all your provider needs, or let's say for clinical where everything around utilization, population health, etc., that can be taken care of. And then obviously there's a construct in which you can intertwine all these together and make it an integration, make it an integrated offering for some specific type of plans, right? So based on all these different implementations that we typically see, there are three broad categories of solution that are there in the market currently for the pair clients to consider when they are thinking about their BPaaS strategy. First is a broad-based BPaaS solution. Now, what do I mean by a broad-based BPaaS solution? It's essentially a way to explain all those solutions which are offering a very comprehensive outsourcing of the entire business processes, right? That includes everything around your member claims, network to network care, etc. Right? These are your end-to-end solutions. A pair client can essentially just outsource their entire value chain for pair operations to one provider who can offer these services built on a core administrative processing system plus additional offering on that. So net everything that can be covered across front, mid, and back office. That's what broad-based or end-to-end BPaaS solution takes care of. The second is your functional BPaaS solution, right, which takes care of certain specific functions. I want to take care of my entire clinical processes, someone else who can take care of it, right? And when I say clinical processes, it could be around utilization, population health, case management, case care coordination, right? Every process around clinical administrative process. So that's one specific care function that needs to be taken care of. So that's a functional BPaaS solution. Or alternatively, I want someone to take care of my provider related processes, provider data management, credentialing, outreach, etc. So all of this bundled together under a platform operations model is what can be called as a network based functional operation solution, right? So that's the second category of functional BPaaS solution that we see in the market. The third category is LOB specific BPaaS solution, or what we call it as line of business specific BPaaS solution. Now, what's interesting here to note is that there are certain solutions in the market which are more broad based or end to end BPaaS, right? But a lot of the BPaaS solutions also need some bit of configuration depending upon the LOB need. For example, in the Medicare environment, you need certain modifications in terms of modules. In the Medicaid environment, you need certain modifications based on the different needs of different states, right? In that fashion, if you implement a solution which is already configurable, which does not need to make any changes every time a new compliance or a new requirement comes in, then that becomes your LOB specific solution, or what is also at times referred to as in a box solution, right? So it's not something in which you have to plug in multiple things. It's completely covered. You just have to sort of implement it at the site and then sort of make and start get going on the operation standpoint. So these are the three different types of BPaaS solutions that we typically see in the market. An interesting point to highlight here is the usage of these solutions as well, right? There are multiple use cases on why and which solution needs to be deployed in which kind of environment. So, for example, if I'm a health plan and I want to launch a new Medicare Advantage health plan, for me, it's important that I launch the health plan on time. I manage the entire operations end to end, and I also ensure that my member experiences do not fall off, right? I'm in that stage. So I need a provider who can quickly launch that solution. Then such kind of situations, your LOB specific BPaaS solution might come into a play. Alternatively, there can be another scenario in which I'm a health plan who have already invested in a lot of solutions, and I may not want to invest in a broad-based end-to-end transformation solution. So what I want to do is that, hey, let me just manage my entire claims operations, claims processes end to end, or let me just manage my entire clinical process end to end. So in that situation, I'll probably just invest into a functional BPaaS solution, and then later on, depending upon the requirement, expand into a broad-based BPaaS solution. Or there could be a third category where the focus would be around transforming my entire processes from a legacy core system to a more modular pre-configurable ecosystem of solution, which is more future-proof in nature. That is where your broad-based solutions might come into picture, right? So depending upon the requirement, depending upon the need of the health plan, all these different solutions are pretty much out there and more nuanced. It's just that it needs to be more called out into understanding how exactly these solutions can be taken into place depending upon the requirement the players have.
Sure, Vivek. And I think that's a very important point because when we speak to payers, I think one of the questions which always come out is that do I have to invest significant money in upgrading my core admin platform system when I'm thinking about BPaaS? But I think the message that we want to give is that BPaaS is not only associated with your core admin platform. You can have system of engagement in areas like network management, utilization management, and that could be a BPaaS construct providing you the same benefits as a core admin or broad-based BPaaS as we say it. Okay, so well, one thing which I think everyone would be interesting to hear about is that whatever we discussed till now, it's all theory. right? But when it comes to actual implementation and success and benefits that payers have achieved, could you talk about that? Could you talk about when you discussed when you had conversation with payers on the benefits of BPaaS, what did they highlight?
Sure, Ankur. We had a lot of conversations with enterprises for this research. So there were a couple of actually a few advantages that BPaaS brings to the table for healthcare payers, making it a very transformative solution in this space. Let's start with one of the most compelling benefits, which is lower total cost of ownership. So BPaaS offers a lower TCO because it involves minimal upfront capital investment from payers instead of making a large capital expenditure on infrastructure. So payers can leverage a pay as you go, or what we also call as PMPM pricing model. This model not only helps keep costs predictable, but it also helps allows payers to uh, scale their use up or down depending upon their needs, which ultimately reduces any extra operational cost. This flexibility, it especially is valuable for health plans operating in an industry where costs are always under scrutiny. Another big noticeable advantage that payers mentioned was accelerated deployment of solutions. BPaaS solutions are designed to be agile and flexible. That allows healthcare organizations to bring solutions to market much faster than traditional systems. In today's fast-paced environment, if you see this quick deployment, it helps ensures business continuity with any limited to no downtime. By leveraging BPaaS, organizations can rapidly launch new products, services, or even make enhancements to existing offerings just on the go. To give you a slight idea in a real world example, many healthcare organizations are using BPaaS to accelerate the deployment of tools like real-time claims editing and pricing. They are also trying to expedite connectivity through customized workflows. In the past, if you see, setting up these systems could easily take more than a year, but with BPaaS, many healthcare organizations are able to achieve it in as little as 6 to 9 months. This is significantly helping them stay ahead of the competition and meet the evolving member demands. Next would be efficient process through integrated platform-led approach, which is a significant advantage again that BPaaS offers. By leveraging an integrated platform, BPaaS it automates a range of manual process such as claim adjudication, which not only saves time but also reduces the potential of any human error. Through this streamlined approach, organizations see improved outcomes and greater overall efficiency. So the platform-driven automation it allows teams to focus on a higher value task rather than spending more time on repetitive manual work. Access to highly skilled and scalable workforce is another significant benefit that payers highlighted. This model it provides healthcare payers with a domain-rich workforce that can easily scale in responses to their needs. Unlike any typical IT or business process outsourcing models, which usually takes a considerable amount of time to ramp up, BPaaS it just quickly helps in accessing skilled resources as demand fluctuates. This is particularly very helpful in peak periods such as open enrollment or when rolling out new services where additional expertise is very critical. Then one key benefits that payers also highlighted was access to better technology. So with BPaaS, healthcare payers can benefit from modern cloud-based platforms that replace legacy and on-premise systems. Legacy systems are often rigid and very difficult to integrate with other tools, whereas BPaaS it comes with a very modern, much modern and flexible alternative that can easily and seamlessly integrate with other platforms. This flexibility that BPaaS has to offer is very essential as payers increasingly are adopting digital solutions and data-driven process across their operations. So if I summarize the although there are multiple more advantages that BPaaS has to offer, if I summarize BPaaS, it offers healthcare payers significant benefits across cost efficiency, deployment speed, workforce scalability, and access to modern technology. So these highlighted advantages, they make BPaaS a very powerful and forward-looking solution for the healthcare payers which are trying to navigate in today's complex healthcare landscape.
Sure, sure, very interesting. Uh, so so this is the second last question that we wanted to discuss in today's session, and it's an important one. So Vivek, whenever we have conversations with payers, there's always confusion regarding, what is the right implementation process for a BPaaS solution, right? Should payers start with setting up a governance structure first? Should they invest in technology? Should they deal with one uh, third party partner versus multiple? So, based on your evaluation, in which spoke with almost like 30 buyers, many service providers, what do you think are the key steps for an enterprise or a payer to think about when they're implementing BPaaS?
Sure, Ankur. And then rightly asked. In fact, in one of the conversations which I was having with enterprises, one of the pair clients, they distinctly mentioned that, look, I want to invest in BPaaS, but what I'm not clear about is how do I make the entire process efficient for me to give me the right set of outcomes. They were pretty much not clear in terms of the investments and the outcomes altogether, right? So, based on what we have seen and what we have interacted with 30 plus buyers, there are four key critical steps that immediately emerge out, which the ones who have already invested have followed to gain a very successful BPaaS implementation. I think the first important step is to conduct a very thorough needs assessment on what exactly is the critical or the requirement that a pair enterprise have, right? Is the requirement to do end-to-end transformation movement from a legacy system to a more future-proof modular system? Or is the requirement to manage one process or one tower of process altogether? Is the requirement more around ensuring that your experience for your customers or members is very much robust? Or is the requirement more around, hey, shifting towards managing multiple providers for multiple processes to a more integrated ecosystem where data talks to each other, processes talk to each other, and you have more robust presence in the market, right? So, depending upon the requirement that pair enterprise or the client has, the process becomes much more useful for them to understand the next step, right? So, the first step is very, very important. Do a very thorough needs assessment that what exactly is the requirement there. The second is that now you, a pair client or the pair enterprise, have the requirement set. The second most critical component is then selecting the right vendor. How exactly do you select the right solutions provider, right? The very important pointer out there is that there are certain characteristics, certain capabilities that one needs to look at to select the right solutions provider. These characteristics could aim around anything from having a robust platform, or it could be around ease of integration with multiple other systems that are there in the market, which can give you a more integrated sense of offering. Or it could be around having the right set of outcomes defined in terms of what exactly your requirement is, right? So depending upon the key characteristics, which is pretty much defined in what we also assessment in the pair BPaaS peak solutions peak, the right solutions provider needs to be selected, right? It could also depend upon what exactly is the provider offering, right? Am I offering a proprietary solution which is there, or am I offering a solution which is more partnership led oriented, right? Which takes into account every process that you may need to cover, and might also take into account if you have any preference for certain specific process, right? I as a payer might have preference that I have worked with a payment integrity provider there, so maybe can you include that in your BPaaS offering so that I don't have to switch my investments or move it from one vendor to another, so on the solutions provider, right? So choosing the right solutions provider is a very critical step for enterprises to kick off their BPaaS journey. Now, even if after they, or probably even during the process of selection, the third important process to certain extent, which also kicks in, is having a very clear understanding of what are the right KPIs that you want to follow, right? These KPIs could be anywhere around, hey, I have already invested a lot of things into my processes, but now I want to sort of reduce my cost. I want to reduce my total cost of ownership by XX%. Or let's say I want to transform my entire claims process, but I want to ensure that this is the overall SLA adherence that I might have. This is the overall automated adjudication from 99% I can have. And I may have certain process specific outcomes, right? So having the right set of KPIs, be it across specific cost element, be it across certain specific operational efficiency parameters, or be it across overall management SLA adherence perspective, right? I think that is very, very important for one to rightly realize the true benefits of BPaaS. And the fourth most important element, which to certain extent we also discussed in the last few minutes, is implementing a continuous improvement plans that adheres to compliance, right? Probably more applicable in the context of some of the managed care plans where the investments are more around in a box solutions in a wider sense, is that, hey, I have implemented a solution, I have had this solution which can take care of my Medicare Advantage needs, but if tomorrow there's any change in compliance, how configurable and modular my solution is to take care of that need without disrupting my current operational process, right? So having the right set of solutions that is taking care of A, emerging compliances, B, continuing to provide a robust services, be it across audit, be it across certain adherences, and C, all of them getting wrapped up into an integrated fashion so that you don't have to, let's say, engage with another third party provider just for the compliance perspective, right? That is very, very critical component. In fact, to certain extent, the new regulations that have come around prior authorization, right, or Medicare prescription payment, right? There are players who have done some sort of investments there too. But it's important that those compliances do take into account whenever a payer client is investing into a BPaaS solution. So net, these are the four critical steps from a very high level fashion. Obviously, when we talk about some of these things, there are certain other elements that we can get into deep dive into further, but more or less some things that payers need to look at when they are implementing their BPaaS journey.
Sure. Sure, Vivek, very helpful. Now, before we wrap up, Vaibhav, because we did that study, right? Very extensive, as Vivek mentioned, running for almost 6 to 7 months. What are the other key takeaways that you have, which you want everyone to know about?
Sure. There are multiple valuable insights that we obtained from the recent research on the peak matrix that we published that is relevant to the discussion of BPaaS. However, I'd like to highlight three particularly interesting ones for our attendees today. Firstly, we are seeing a significant rise in BPaaS adoption. So, according to our recent research, at least 10 to 12 BPaaS deals are being signed annually. This trend underscores the growing recognition among enterprises for the benefits of BPaaS that it offers in terms of operational efficiency, be it cost reduction or scalability. More and more healthcare payers are turning towards BPaaS solutions as a means to modernize their operations and stay competitive in a rapidly evolving industry. Uh, Second, Ankur, there's a high focus on partnerships across multiple functions within BPaaS solutions. We are seeing increased collaboration in multiple areas, be it analytics, automation, or certain non-core functions such as care management or provider data management, and also member experience. Interestingly, some BPaaS providers they are now leveraging around 25 to 30 partnerships with other organizations to offer integrated or end-to-end BPaaS solutions to pairs. These collaborations it enables the delivery of very highly tailored BPaaS solutions that meets the correct and unique needs of healthcare payers that they have. With this level of integration, the payers can address a wide range of challenges and operate more effectively and enhance their overall service delivery. Lastly, what we saw was that BPaaS is evolving into a more specialized in a box type of solution, such as Medicare Advantage in a box, or be it Medicaid in a box. These out of the box compliance driven solutions are designed to simplify the complexity of managing plan types and ensure payers are adhering to the necessary regulations. By offering these pre-configured solutions, BPaaS providers are making it easier for healthcare organizations to maintain compliance and reduce the operational burden associated with any regulatory requirements.
Sure. Sure, Vaibhav. Thank you for sharing some of the critical insights from the peak assessment. And I think that's all from our side for today. Again, Vivek, Vaibhav, thank you for doing this rigorous analysis for the last 7 to 8 months and coming up with insights which I believe will be helpful for an enterprise to understand and implement a BPaaS solution within their environment. And of course, helpful for the service provider community as well as they are thinking about creating new solutions which can help which can help the market in moving towards a more BPaaS oriented solution approach. To the audience, if you want to discuss BPaaS in detail with us, we are also offering a complimentary briefing with us. So feel free to reach out to Vaibhav, Vivek, or myself. We'll be happy to connect and talk about some of the live implementation examples and the learnings from those examples as well. But thank you so much for joining this session and hope it was insightful. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Vaibhav. Take care.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.